A good design can be the biggest difference in if your products are actually going to get sales and make you a ton of profit in your print on demand business. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through the process of actually going from idea or concept with your niche to actually going through the process of creating a design that could become a best seller. Now, I am a print on demand seller with years of experience and thousands of sales, so I really know what it takes to make a great design that is going to be eye-catching and actually get sales, but doesn't take a lot of time. One of the biggest factors in making more sales is going to be getting lots of products uploaded. So if you're spending hours creating a single design, that is not going to do any benefits to your business. You want to be making good designs in as little time as possible so you can get more and more products out there. So let's just jump right into it. Now, for today's video, I have partnered with Kittl, who is my personal design suite of choice. If you're not familiar at all with Kittl, they are an all-in-one tool for print-on-demand sellers that has everything to create really one-of-a-kind, stunning designs super easily. So even if you're not a graphic designer, you have no experience in art or anything like that, you can create amazing best-selling designs from this platform. Now, you can create designs 100% from scratch on here, but one of the things that I love is all of the templates that Kittl has for you to use. So if you have a concept or a niche that you know is going to do really well, you can simply plug it into one of the templates they already have and create a design in literal minutes. Now, if you missed it, in my last video, I actually shared 9 of the biggest niches and trends that are coming for us in 2024, so you can get a great idea of what you should start thinking about now. So in this video today, I'm going to be taking some of those niches and actually showing you how you go from a concept or that idea to actually making it into a real wearable design. And if you missed that video with the rest of the niches and trends, I definitely think you should check it out. I will link it down below. Now, one of the big niches that I shared in my previous video that is going to sell really well in 2024 has to do with an event that is coming up in April, and that is a total solar eclipse. Now, this is going to be able to be seen over multiple different states, so that means there is so much interest around this particular event, and products that have to do with this are going to sell really well. So right now, I'm going to go to Kittl and actually start creating a shirt for this total solar eclipse event. Now, I have logged into my Kittl account here, and if I wanted to go ahead and start creating a design totally from scratch, I could do that by just clicking a new project right here. But I'm going to take advantage of all of the templates that Kittl has and actually find one that is going to work really well with the niche that I am thinking. So what I like to do first, if I am creating a t-shirt, is just go over here to the t-shirt section that they have. Now, what I was kind of thinking for this design is maybe starting with a base of something that is kind of in that retro sunset style that is so popular, and then we could kind of put some elements that have to do with the eclipse there. So on Kittl, you can use this search bar to search different keywords. So if you wanted to look up something like vintage or retro or even outdoors or sunset, you could do that here. But I'm just going to start looking through some of these trending designs and see if there is one that could work for our purposes. So a lot of these are super cute. All right, so right away, this one that says Sunset Serenity catches my eye. It's definitely kind of what I was thinking with that retro sunset aesthetic, but I think we can replace the image with something that has to do with the eclipse and have a design that's almost good to go right away. So I'm gonna click use this design here. All right, so on this Kittl canvas, what I'm going to do first is just click right on the canvas here, and you can see that there is some kind of texture applied to this. Now, I think this doesn't always print super well, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that, but that's totally up to your discretion. Now, the first thing that I want to find is I want to find something that could replace this circular image here, because that is a sunset, but it's not really a solar eclipse. And I want something that really looks like an eclipse. So I'm going to go over here to the element section on the left-hand side, and I'm just going to look up eclipse and see if there is anything that we could use. Now, Kittl has a ton of graphics that are completely free to use for print on demand. So if you have an account with them, you don't have to worry about any of the licensing. All right, so there are quite a few different eclipse options that would look really cool. This one is cool, but I kind of like this here. So let's see what that would look like if we kind of make it the same size as that previous image. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and send this to the back by right clicking on it. Now, I think what I want to do is I want to have it say total eclipse and then maybe put the date of when this event is happening at the top here. So let's go ahead and change this text. And the really cool thing about Kittle is if you start changing what it says, it's going to auto format all of the text and letters into the exact same style they were previously. So see how this was on an angle? Once I change it, it's still going to be the same angle there. That looks good. And then this is taking place on April 8th, 2023. So I think we could do April 8th, 2023. And then I think I want this eclipse to be a little bit bigger here. So let's change that. And then this here, it kind of works with the coloring, but I think that I want to maybe change the color just a little bit to tie more into that image that we chose. So I'm actually going to use this dropper here, and I'm going to select the orange color that's right there just to make it a little bit more cohesive. Now, I really like my items to take up a lot of the canvas, so I'm going to go ahead and resize this so it's a little bit bigger, it's more readable. All right, and that is already looking really good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go over here to the download, and then I am going to make sure and change the pixels to at least be 4,500 pixels wide, and then that's going to auto adjust the height for me. Then I'm going to make sure and remove the background, and I'm going to go ahead and download that as a PNG. Now I headed over to Printify, who is my manufacturer of choice. I'll link them down below as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you what this design is going to look like on the product that I'm going to sell it on. So I think this style could really look good on a hoodie. This is another big item that I sell a ton of. They are great sellers. If you've only ever sold t-shirts, I definitely recommend trying out some hoodies. So I'm just going to go ahead and search hoodie here and then select the one that I like to use. So I typically go with this unisex Gildan heavy blend sweatshirt. So I'm just going to scroll down here to the manufacturers, and I am going to go with Swift POD. I'm just going to click start designing, and then I'm just going to go ahead and upload the item right here by dragging and dropping that. All right, so I went ahead and I selected the black color on here, and then we can make sure that this is centered and within the print area. Now we can go ahead and go over to the preview section and see what this would actually look like printed. That looks super cute. Let's see what it would look like on an actual person. That looks really cute as well. So if you haven't ever done this before, I definitely recommend making designs for solar events that are happening because people really do buy a ton of items around that time. All right, so the next niche that we're going to be designing for today is in that grunge early 2000s aesthetic, or Y2K. So this is another niche that I talked about being big this year, but I know it's just going to continue. A lot of the different fashion trends are predicting that grunge and kind of that oversized baggy look too is going to be really, really big in 2024. So I think this is a great aesthetic to target for any of the niches that you already sell in. So I'm actually going to go to Kittle and I'm going to create a nursing design that is in that kind of grunge Y2K aesthetic. So I'm not just making a Y2K design and trying to market it that way, but I'm actually taking a niche that already does well and kind of putting it with that aesthetic to make a trending type of design that will sell really well in 2024. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and search Y2K here in the search bar on Kittle and see what that brings up. Now they have a ton of different designs for this aesthetic, so we can really find something that's going to work really, really well for us. So let's just look around here. I do really like kind of this style. I love using those like purples and blues for this type of design. It was a really trendy aesthetic kind of back in the day, but people are really wearing it a lot right now too. All right, so after looking for a few moments, I actually found this design right here that I really like. So this particular style is actually really popular right now on Etsy. It kind of has this big serif lettering at the top with some little bit of cursive at the bottom, and it's very like grungy style. So I'm going to go ahead and click use this design, and we're going to start creating a nurse design for this. All right, so once again, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this and I'm going to delete the texture there. And then I was trying to think about what could really fit with kind of this like grunge Y2K nurse aesthetic. And I thought we could do something with like that cool nursing club that I've seen selling a little bit on Etsy. So I thought about saying something like member of the cool nurse club. So I'm gonna go ahead and start changing this lettering to say that right now. So I'm going to say member of here, member of, and then the cool nurse club, cool nurse. All right, so that is already looking super cute, but we know we definitely don't want this design right here that has nothing to do with nurses. So we want something that is going to be really hyper specific for this. Now, with something very particular like a Y2K kind of nurse design, it's going to be difficult to find a graphic that is already made that would work really well for this. So I like that on Kittl, they actually have an AI option that if you have one of their pro or expert accounts, you're going to get credits to create AI images. So I'm going to start describing the image that I want to use and then hopefully come up with a graphic that's going to be one of a kind that will work really well for this kind of grunge nurse aesthetic. All right, so I kind of thought that maybe we could do something with like a skeleton that is a nurse that's kind of grungy. Skeletons are really big in this kind of aesthetic. So I just typed out skeleton nurse woman with scrubs to see if we can kind of come up with something that's going to work. And it may take us a few tries. Now, what we want to do is we're going to actually select an image style that's going to work really well with this type of design. So I'm going to go over here to the image styles, and then I like to do something that's either in this like cyberpunk style or a t-shirt graphic. But I think since we already have kind of some of these colors going on, I'm going to go with the cyberpunk clip art and then just click generate image. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to load. All right, so after it loaded, it brought up this. So we have kind of a skeleton nurse that's wearing some really cute scrubs. And I think this actually can work for our purposes. So whenever you create AI art, the first thing you want to do is go over here to the right-hand side and just click the AI background remover. That's gonna make it that you can actually use this design in your shirt or whatever you're making. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and make that a little bit bigger here. I'm just resizing this. And then this lettering, I'm gonna go ahead and move it to the front. Now I'm gonna resize this here and then we can start kind of playing around with some of the elements. So I'm gonna make this bigger. Now some of this, I kind of want to move over here to kind of fill in some of these spaces on the edge. So this text is a little bit difficult to see. So what I'm actually going to do is click on that and go over here to where it says effects and see if there's an effect that can actually make it so we can see this just a little bit better against that graphic. So by putting kind of a shadow and then changing it to black, it just makes it so we can kind of see that a little bit better. Now, another thing that I might do is, so for this text color, it's almost the same as the graphic we created, but it's just a little bit off. So I can actually click on the text color here, and then by using this dropper, I can select the actual purple that's in this design. And then same thing with this other one. I can use the dropper and select the actual purple here. So it's just a little bit more cohesive. And then once we're happy with that, again, we're gonna go over here to the downloads. And then I'm gonna make sure this is at least 4,500 pixels and that the background is removed, and go ahead and download that as a PNG. All right, so I am back over on my Printify account, and one of the trends that I shared for 2024 is going to be that oversized clothing look. So one of the best products for this is actually going to be a Comfort Colors t-shirt. So I'm gonna look that up on Printify and show you what this design would look like on one of those kind of distressed baggy style shirts. So let's look up Comfort Colors here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on this Comfort Colors t-shirt. And then I'm gonna go down here to Swift POD and click Start Designing. And then I'm just gonna kind of drag and drop the artwork right here. All right, so I went ahead and I selected the black Comfort Color t-shirt and made sure that this design looks like it's centered and well positioned. Then I'm gonna go over here to the previews. Now you can see on this model, it really has that baggy, oversized look that people are really loving, and the design looks really cute there. So I think if you're creating any of these kind of retro grunge style shirts, you can really put them on Comfort Colors, and people are willing to pay a lot more. In fact, they're even looking for these particular t-shirts by name, so it's even worth it to include in your title and description that these are Comfort Color t-shirts. All right, for the next niche that I'm going to be designing for today, I shared that one of the biggest niches and trends for 2024 is 100% going to be political designs. Now, you can take this either way and definitely make a ton of profit, but I'm just going to show you on Kittle how they have so many different templates that are going to work really, really well for this type of design. So what I'm going to do to start creating this is actually just look up USA, and a lot of them are either titled under that or like America, something like that. Now they have so many different options here. Like this is a very cool one, actually made by Detour Shirts, our friend Juna. He has an amazing channel and he makes a ton of great designs for Kittle, but let's keep looking here. This one is really cool, and a lot of these could go either way. So no matter what kind of designs you're making, you could use a lot of the templates that they have. Very cute. All right, so I'm really loving kind of that like groovy aesthetic. So I think that something like this could work really well for a political style design. So I'm just gonna click use this. Now, just like in our previous designs, the first thing I'm going to do is click here and just get rid of that texture. And then I'm not going to make a design that is for a very specific niche. I'm going to make one that kind of could go for either side. So I think I'm just going to say something that I've seen trending a little bit, which is about voting. So I'm going to say something like cool girls vote. So I'm just going to start changing some of the elements here for what we want it to say. So I'm going to say cool girls. And then that's a little bit too big here. So I'm going to go over to the text size, and I'm just going to try 160 and see if that fits a little bit better, which that looks great. And you know what? I actually might change this to capital letters. I think that will just look a little bit nicer. And that still made it a little bit too big. So I'm just going to go down to 150 and see if that works. And let's just do it a little bit more, 140. Okay, that is going to work. Now, cool girls, and then I'm going to change this people to say vote. That looks good, but I definitely want this to take up more room. So I'm just going to go ahead and resize this. And then we're going to move some of those other elements here. I'm going to move these stars down and over. And then if we just go ahead and resize this, we pretty much have a design that is ready to go. Right, so once again, I'm just gonna go over here to the downloads, and then I'm gonna change this to pixels because it wasn't, change this to 4500, and then go ahead and remove that background and download as a PNG. Now I'm back on Printify, and this type of design really could work for a ton of different products, but I'm just going to kind of put it on the t-shirt that is really the bread and butter of my business, which is just their Bella and Canvas 3001. They are a really great price, and I sell a ton of them. They're just a little bit nicer than maybe a standard Gildan t-shirt, but they aren't really expensive. They're a lot less even than those comfort colors, but they still do really well. So I'm gonna go to Swift POD and click Start Designing. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and drag and drop the design we just created right here. All right, so once I uploaded that, I just went over to the previews to see what it looks like, and that is looking super cute on this white design. You could definitely put it on some other colors too, but something like this is going to do really, really well in 2024 when so many people are buying political designs to kind of show off what they are voting for and what they are kind of like standing for around this time. So if you've never sold political designs before, I definitely recommend making some for this coming year, because with the election happening in the United States for the presidency, it's going to be a huge seller. Now, if you've never tried out Kittle before, they are definitely my go-to partner for making all of my designs. I'll have all of their information linked down below. And if you want to see the complete list of all of the rest of the trends and aesthetics and niches that are going to be huge in 2024, make sure you watch this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.